You know, man, getting locked up fucking sucks. Hey man, before we get into this video, I just want you to know this video is gonna be a little long because I'm detailing a lot of stuff that I've experienced, my past experiences, things that I've been through. If you're really interested in the type of guy that I am and the things that I had to go through to get to the point that I am now, or get to the point that I'm at now, stay tuned. But if you're not, at least subscribe to the channel. Who knows, I might have some content on this channel that is actually geared towards what you like or the person you are. You know, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, make sure you click the bell, and you get updated and notified whenever I upload a video. It really helps the channel grow. Definitely get in the comment section and tell me about your life experiences. If you're going to continue to watch this video, tell me about things that you went through and how you responded to it and how you came out on top. Because the only reason you watch this video right now is because you came out on top, because you were a soldier. But yeah, man, let's get into the video. It really messes with you. You know? Like, all my life I've lived as a person who tried to do the right thing. You know, I've never really been vindictive to anybody. I treat people the way they treat me, and I treat people how I would like to be treated. If I joke with somebody, I would like for that person to joke with me. If I treat somebody good, I would, you know, I don't expect anything from anybody, but I just would like to be treated the way that I treat other people. And I feel like when I released a video last year, I've had so many things happen to me that have halted my progress in not just fitness but in life, because it's all trapped up here. Now, right now, nothing's going on. Like, I'm not in any like trouble, I'm not in any danger. It's just everything plays a big role in my mind. When I put that video out last year, titled Dealing with Depression Alone, I had to get feedback from people who I hold close, near and dear to me. Mainly my dad. Me and him talk every single day. There's not a day that goes by that we don't talk. And it's been that way since I was about 13 years old. So for 14 years straight, he's always been in my life. There's no problem there. But, you know, as you become older, you start to prioritize things, and you start to, you know, become an adult, and you start to deal with life as things change. But I really conversated with him, and he was like, yeah, if this is what you want to do, you know, your best bet would be to put everything on display. And even in that video, I don't think I put everything on display. I'm definitely going to do that now. So, to go back to 2016, 2015, which was a very aggressive time in my life. My friend Micah always trips off me. He says I say the word aggressive and stuff all the time. I was dealing with friends who I thought were friends that really weren't. I was dealing with situations that I wasn't prepared for. I was in a relationship that I never really wanted to be in. It was just certain situations and certain things happened that I really had no choice but to either be in the relationship or end up in a really bad position that I didn't really want to deal with. I wasn't equipped to deal with that position, but come to find out, I wasn't really equipped to deal with the relationship either. So I was kind of like, it was a lose-lose situation, but I had to pick an option. It was like one of those things where you have to pick something, and not picking something is an option anyway. But I had to pick something, and I chose to do the relationship thing, or I chose to continue it. And it was a rough time. It was a rough patch, and since we broke up, I haven't spoken to her, and I probably never will. But that's fine. You know, in life, you go through it. You are cool with people one day, and then you never speak to them again. And that's fine. You have to accept that. It happens. There are people in your life who you may have been cool with. You may have ended on bad or good terms. You just never spoken to them again. Or you may have just drifted apart. But the relationship that I was in was very toxic. It had its good times, like every relationship. Even the worst relationships have good times. I was a very childish person. When I was 21, 22, I was very childish. I didn't handle things the proper way. and there were a lot of fights, a lot of arguments. This was back when I actually argued with people, but more specifically women. Never really fought anybody. I mean, you get picked on in school, you gotta fight, and it's stuff like that. But I've never been a fighter. I've never been an argumentative person. I've always been very, easygoing, mild-mannered. I don't get loud because I feel as though if I'm loud, I can't get my point across. If I can't get my point across, there's no need to talk to you anymore. If you're the type of person that feels as though you need to yell, I don't need to be talking to you because you're an adult just like I'm an adult. So if I can control myself, you need to control yourself. And if you can't, we're just not going to be speaking. All in all, the relationship, it was very sour. It was very bitter and disgusting. At that time, I wasn't thinking clearly. A lot of emotions all over the place. And when you don't know how to deal with that, you tend to lose control and you tend to lose touch of what reality really is. What I mean is, if you can't control your emotions, if you can't implement some type of logic, then you're destined to fail. Because when you do things out of emotion, the logic comes later, but after the consequence of the emotional act. But all in all, I feel like I'm rambling. All in all, we definitely hit it off, but it was a short-lived thing. And we ended up getting into a very big argument. She hit me a few times. I mean, I'm a big fella. Like, I'm strong. Like, come on now. I'm big, I'm strong. I'm stronger than I was back then. But it's things like that can't physically affect me. And I know for a fact if I put my hands on somebody, then there's some real physical aggressive, see that word again, there's some really aggressive damage that can be done. So that's why I would rather talk to somebody instead of getting physical with somebody. So the cops are involved, lawyers had to get involved, but this is only after I get arrested. We get into this big argument, and as I'm leaving, words are being said and I just ignore it. I go to my cousin's house, spend the night there. We were in an apartment together. I worked it out with the property manager, and I finalized the ending of the lease, went my own way, stayed with my cousin Kurt for a few weeks, and then I got my own apartment. Fast forward 4 months, I was at the gym working out, and this guy who I knew was a police officer, he was like, "Hey man, your name's Jabbar Perry, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's me. You know me, man. What's happening?" He's like, "Oh yeah, let me speak to you outside." So I go speak to him, and he tells me, you got a warrant for your arrest out. I'm like, "What? The fuck? What? Me? What I got a warrant for? I don't even miss. I pay my property tags on time. I don't even miss anything. I don't speed. I don't do nothing. So what have I done?" And he said, "Well, listen, I can't really go into detail, but I can help you with the situation as much as I can." So he helps me with the process. Long story short, my ex-girlfriend she called the cops and made up this big story like, "Oh God, he beat me, he choked me, he threatened to kill my mom, he's crazy, he's a lunatic." She said all this shit. And being that this is in South Carolina, like, all right, I'm gonna stop for a second and say the justice system does not favor men. I mean, you can take it how you want to take it, but the justice system does not make money off of men being right. They make money off of men being the aggressors in all situations. If there is irrefutable evidence, then they have no choice to help the guy out. But living in South Carolina and all of this information, the stuff that came upon me as I'm going through the process, domestic violence is very rampant in South Carolina. It didn't really look good for me because this big, strong guy, and apparently because I have big muscles and I like lifting heavy things, I'm crazy. Go figure. I had to stay in jail for 22 hours. 22 hours. A lot of people who I've told this to, or a lot of people who know the story, would say some things like, "Oh my God, 22 hours is nothing, man. I was in jail for a year. I was in jail for 5 years. I was in jail for a decade." Yeah, that's your dumbass. You broke the law. You did what you had to do, and you had to go lay down. If you don't know what lay down means jail time. So I'm a person that lived my life and currently still live my life on the terms of I'm never going to jail. So whatever I need to do to not go to jail, I'll do that. And to be in that position, they take everything out of your wallet. They take everything out of your pockets. You can't wear hats. You can't do anything. You're basically in this room with a bunch of drunk, crazy, drug addict, heroin addict. In Charleston, we say heroin. Heroin addicts. Just people who deserve to be in jail. People who deliberately speed for some crazy ass reason. Drag races. Anyway, stuff like that. And you're in this room with people who deserve to be there, and you feel as though you're the only person who doesn't deserve to be there because you didn't do anything wrong. I'm sorry. The only thing I did wrong was I didn't jump in front of this thing when I had the chance. I should have gotten in front of it first, proved my case, and I would have never gone through the situation, but I didn't do that because as men, there's certain things that we don't do. Righteous men, there's certain things that we don't do. We don't drag issues when it comes to women. We don't push the bar when it comes to, being petty, if you will, when it comes to women. If we're done with you, we're done with you. We don't want to deal with you no more. What you do, have fun, that's fine. We don't follow up women in court. We don't do stuff like that in court unless we need to, unless it's necessary, unless we were wronged. But when it's something as petty as this, we could care less. But you're stuck in this room with people who deserve to be there. And they told me, they did this thing called, bond court. And what's crazy is they tried to fit all of us in this small room, and I was the first name they called. They said, Mr. Perry. Looked around, no more Perrys. Hey, I guess it's me. So it's me in this little small room, and I'm looking at, it's a TV in front of me, and I can see myself, I can see the judge, and I can hear my ex-girlfriend. And the judge was really aggressive with me. There's that word again. She was really aggressive with me, and I could hear the lies that my ex-girlfriend was saying. Oh, he was such an animal. He beat me since day one. He would slap me in the face and slam me. And then she did this crying bullshit that, he did all these things. Meow. And I'm like, really, bro? Like, you gotta understand. At the time, I was about a solid 300 pounds. Could lift the truck. Could push whatever, could do whatever. If I really and she didn't have a scratch on her face, she wasn't injured in any way. If I really wanted to harm somebody, there would at the very least, be visible markings. But she had none. And this is something that happened 3-4 months prior. Even, she had no doctor record, she had nothing. And I'm like, are y'all really believing this? Really? Wow. So I'm sitting here like a caged animal. They told me that my bond was set at $30,000 and I didn't have any money, but I didn't know that you only had to pay 10%, so $3,000 to get out. I didn't have that much money. I had like maybe $200 in my account at the time. And so the guard lady told me, hey, if you can't bond out, you're gonna have to stay here until your first court hearing, which was in July. So that means I would have to wait 5 months in jail for something I didn't do. And I would just have to wait there. I was like, nah. I kind of lost it. I was like, nah. I got really upset. Like, man, fuck this shit. Fuck all this shit. I ain't do shit. I'm tired of this shit. Blah, blah, blah. Because when you're pushed to that level, when you are continually blamed for something you know in your heart of hearts that you didn't do, it kind of fucks with you. To the point of making you kind of crazy. But all in all, you get past that, you get through that, and we fast forward a little bit. I got in contact with my dad. He got me out. I paid him back. I spent the next 8 months to a year paying off a bondsman and a lawyer who were very good people. I spent the next 8 months to a year paying them off. I had to go to I had to do 40 hours of community service. I had to do 26 weeks which is 6 months of anger management, and I'm not an angry person. So every day I went in there, I felt like there was no reason for me to even be here. It got to the point to where I feel as though I kind of was helping teach the class, because I don't know, it's just something about the way I talk to people. It's as though I feel as though I can walk into a crazy situation and bring everybody down to the same level, so that way we could work it out. Because I have a theory. Whenever two types of emotions meet, you got cool emotions, you got crazy emotions. Whenever they meet, one is gonna give in to the other. So if I'm cool, calm, and collected, and you're irate, crazy, and loud, either you're gonna come down to my level and we're gonna discuss this thing, I'm gonna come up to your level and we're gonna probably fight, or we're gonna separate. I'm never gonna let anybody get me out of my character. So you're either gonna come down to my level or we're gonna separate. So I get out of jail, I had to do all this stuff, and you fast forward at all the stress, all the depression, like even like, look, see that? All of this, like my hair being lost and stuff, hair loss, sleepless nights, jumping up out of my sleep, bright lights hurting my eyes just because of the tension and the stress in my body, you know, anxiety. That's partly, not even partly, that's a big reason as to why I started the anxiety section of my channel. And it just was a very rough time. And you deal with all this stuff, and you understand and you learn, because life is the only thing that gives you the test before the lesson. Schoolwork, they teach you up until you get to a point where they're like, okay, we gotta test everybody on what they know. They give you a small form of a test, a quiz. You get tested on what you know, and your grade is determined on how well you do on that test. Life is not like that. You get thrust into 99.9% of a lot of things. You either fail or you realize that you were built for this thing and you pass. But most people fail and they learn from it. It gives you the test, then the lesson. So I took that as getting the test and then the lesson, but it still played with my mind a little bit. So to this day, I still have I still have anxiety. I get depressed from time to time. I have bouts of depersonalization where I don't feel like things are real. I don't feel like I'm real. I feel like I'm on autopilot, like I'm watching myself act through a lens from a distance. It's a crazy phenomenon, but it is what it is. I just wanted to make this video to say that a lot of times bad things happen to good people. Whether you call yourself good or not, the truth of the matter is bad things happen to good people. And you really don't have any choice but to learn from it and move according to what you have experienced, so that way you don't fall into that trap again. If you take anything from this video, be careful of the people that you bring into your life. Analyze everybody, even family, that you bring into your life, because as you get older, you start to have more things to lose. Your life is a lot more precious. You start to realize that you're not invincible, that, you know, you may start to think about mortality a lot more. I know I did, and I know I do now. But you start to realize that time is precious. Your time is precious. You are a precious vessel. You are a precious being. And you can't really dictate what happens. You can only move with what happens, if that makes sense. You can move with it in the fact that, okay, I went through this, so I know what to expect whenever I'm in this situation. So I just wanted to make this video to detail what I really went through, so nobody's left in the dark about the type of person that I am, or why I do a lot of the things that I do, you know, because you realize that, man, all of the stuff could have been avoided if I didn't associate with this person, or a large portion of the stuff could have been avoided if I jumped in front of it when I had the chance. And then my dad actually told me that. And I think he knew that something like this could happen, but it was a decision that I had to make on my own. You can't expect people to make decisions for you, especially when you become an adult. That's for kids and teenagers. When you become an adult, you basically deal with the consequences of every action you make. If you wake up one morning and say, I don't want to go to work, you got to deal with the fact that you're going to get fired from that job. If you wake up one morning with the idea that I'm going to rob this bank, you got to deal with the consequence that you're most likely going to be arrested and sent to jail for a very long time. If you associate with goofy ass people, you have to come to terms with the fact that maybe this isn't going to end well for me. It's going to end well for them because they're goofy people, so they like goofy results. But I'm a solid person, so anything goofy that comes to me, it just throws off my vibe. So I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. I know this video is going to be crazy long, but I really hope y'all enjoyed the video. I actually I really, and I know it doesn't seem like it because I don't upload it as much, but I actually love talking about mental health. I love talking about experiences, and I love talking about stuff like that. You know, I just don't know why. It's like one of those things I just do naturally. Like, I can just talk to people. Like, I can talk to anybody about anything. And I think I've said that in a few of my videos. I can talk to anybody about anything. So, but yeah, man, here again, hope y'all enjoyed this video. Like, share, comment, subscribe. And until next time, deuce.